Before I start this video, I just want to say I know Thomas Astruc has shooters who ride his dick no matter what he does, so if you're one of them, go take a shower because I can smell your stinky ass through this video. But I can't start this little story time of how he blocked me without giving you context. I've been watching this show since I was like 10 but never joined any kind of forum on the internet where people talk about Miraculous until last year. I made my first Twitter account in 2018 but deleted the app and came back in 2020 during quarantine, but I was on K-pop Twitter. Fast forward 2022, right before I got suspended a second time for telling transphobes to kill themselves, I started lurking on MLB Twitter but never joined until I came back in April. This time I joined MLB Twitter right away. Also in October of 2022 I joined the MLB subreddit, but that's a story for another day, and yet I'm not part of that anymore. I honestly haven't decided which experience was worse yet. I think my time on the MLB subreddit deserves its own video. Oh, I can already smell the comments from Redditors saying, "Oh, you, if you think that's bad, you haven't seen anything, pussy." And to that I say, go take a fucking shower with the Astruc fans and take a walk outside, you reek of shit. Anyways, Astruc's controversies range from bullying and blocking fans on Twitter to racism, Islamophobia and sexualizing characters who are minors. Thomas Astruc, believe it or not, used to be pretty liked by the fandom, until he started showing his true colors on Twitter. Particularly lashing out and blocking people who he thought are hating on him and his show. Constructive criticism is not in this man's vocabulary. He thinks that if you're not dick riding and defending every writing decision of his, you're a hater. The same man who was quite literally shitting on Encanto. The joke writes itself. This man's ego is so damn big and needs to constantly be fed, it's bordering on narcissism. So much so that he made a whole self-insert episode of Miraculous with himself getting akumatized because boo-hoo, we don't give him enough credit. Whiny ass man child. And when someone called him out on this, he covered it up by saying he was mocking himself in that episode. Ijbal. If you're watching this and you don't know much about Thomas Astruc, you might think, he's not going to block his show's fans though, right? Well, you're wrong. Because as of 2023 he's probably blocked more people from MLB Twitter than any other part of Twitter. To the point where it started a joke that if you get blocked by Thomas Astruc you're an official member of MLB Twitter. Alongside his controversial Twitter, he's been getting fire for a comic that is blatantly racist and sexualizes a minor, but is not canon to the show's events and has nothing to do with it at all. I think some of you have seen it already, the one with Marinette who transformed naked because Chloe stole her clothes and had to cover herself with a box, bumping into a bunch of black people, one of them literally called Ghetto Blaster and asks them not to kill her or some shit. Mind you, this was written by white men. It's so widely known outside of the fandom that people use it against the fandom to call us racist by association, even though it is not canon and again, has nothing to do with the show. Despite the damage this comic has done to the franchise's image and to the black fans who have to defend it, Thomas Astruc never apologized, and when asked about it he said to read the whole comic before talking. As if it makes it any better. Spoiler. It doesn't make it any better. He's talking about how they're helping a hospital as if it's some gotcha moment like, surprise, they're good people. As if it makes he racist. Undertones not racist. Whether he will ever apologize to POC fans and understand why this is problematic, we'll never know. Despite this not being canon, there are still things in the show that are questionable when it comes to these white writers and how they treat their POC characters, mostly whitewashing. How much they've westernized Marinette, who is half Asian, and her design, which is very much white passing, so much so that locals think she's 100% white. Alia's skin tone changes and hair change in the movie. Milen, a white character having dreads. Max's skin tone getting lighter when he transforms into Pegasus. And the whitewashing of his civilian character design in the movie compared to the show. Making an episode vaguely about racism but never actually saying the word or disclosing it's about racism. Resolving the racism issue in said episode by blaming Marinette, who had nothing to do with it, instead of the racist. I could go on. As for depiction of religion, someone asked for a hijab character and he said that he's not going to make religion a thing in the show because it's a private matter, despite there being a Christmas special. And he went on to agree with someone who tweeted that Jesus was a miraculous holder. No religion in the show, my ass. There was this time when he retweeted art from someone who sexualized Marinette, who is only 14. When someone confronted him, he said this. Yeah, he truly doesn't care. Neither does the person who drew the art. He made not one, not two, but three, and probably more we haven't seen. Drawings of the characters sexualized. Someone needs to check his computer files, I think. Now for the story of how Tommy blocked me. It's funny because I had never interacted with him. I guess you don't even need to interact with his account to get blocked. It all started on the chaotic July 1st, 2023. The season 5 finale had just come out. MLB Twitter was in shambles, but at least Emilie was alive now. Is what we all thought, including people who had seen the leaked version of it months ago, including me confirming Emilie was back. Until Thomas, amidst the chaos of people freaking out over Adrian's lack of involvement and other writing decisions regarding him, replied to someone asking if the blonde woman at the pool party after the wish was Emilie, with this. And that's when everybody freaked out times 10. As if the MLB Season 5 spoilers hashtag wasn't trending that day with thousands of tweets under it already. Now we had something else to talk about. This reply from Thomas started a rampage. People thought this meant that Gabriel didn't bring Emilie back, making the wish plot pointless. Reminder that this was also the day that Elon Musk decided to basically take Twitter down. Y'all remember the tweet limit thing? I couldn't tweet after this for 2 or 3 days. So the only thing I could do is scroll and watch people lose their minds over this. Until I came back on July 4th, just 3 days later with this banger.
After studying his past and present on Twitter as a troll and just a very sarcastic, unserious individual, I came to the conclusion that this was nothing more than one of his marketing stunts to get people excited for season 6, to see if it's actually Emilie as he implied it might not be. Even though plot-wise it wouldn't make any sense to not have Emilie back after all of the shit that went down. But the Amelie debate in its full is a topic for another video. Pause and read my lengthy tweet to see exactly what I said. Not even 2 minutes after I posted this, I saw a notification from someone with the username Thomas Astruc and immediately thought it was one of those fakes. Then I clicked on the account and oh, it was actually the man himself. How the hell did he find my tweet as an account with, at the time of posting that, around 50 followers? Maybe he checked the MLB spoilers hashtag for reactions conveniently a minute after I tweeted that? Who knows? What was his reply? This. And after he said this I checked his account to see what he replied to other people, and surprise, he said the exact same thing to at least 5 more people. All while never actually explaining how the wish works. And the show does a very poor and inconsistent job at explaining how it works. So we basically have nothing to go off of. And his reply had nothing to do with my points in the original tweet anyway. After a few minutes I checked his account again to see that he blocked me. Which to me, proves that everything I said in my tweet is correct. Otherwise why else would he block me? Another thing that further proves my point that his reply whether it's Emilie or Amelie doesn't hold any actual weight in the plot is because he's said this before. Whatever I say, you'll twist my words to fit your theories, whatever they are. You're helpless, laughing emoji. If this doesn't confirm that the whole Emilie Pool debate was pointless, I don't know what will. I called his ass out for starting chaos on MLB Twitter just to keep fans from leaving, who by the way, were all over my timeline for days before the finale came out saying how they were going to leave the fandom and not stick around for season 6. Thomas knew this, he knew everyone was disappointed, and wanted to bring attention to something the fandom had never seen, Emilie, and the possibility that we'll never see her. This shit had people saying the leaked proof of it being Emilie doesn't matter and that they changed it. Thomas saw an opportunity and he took it. Which don't get me wrong, I never said was a bad thing. I never bashed him in my original tweet for wanting people to stick around for the next season. I just had to speak up because certain people in the fandom had started to lose their shit as well as their morals over this, being vile and disgusting to each other for no reason. I guess I should have expected that because it's Twitter we're talking about. Not only that, as I said in a follow-up tweet, the only reason he started this debate was to hype up season 6 so he won't lose viewers and to distract from the terrible message to abuse victims. Which is 100 times worse than simply wanting people to stick around to see his quote-unquote masterpiece. I don't even know why I'm surprised he wanted to silence and distract from the greater conversation MLB Twitter was having, rightfully criticizing his decision to keep Adrian, an abuse victim, in the dark about everything regarding his family, and glamorizing his abuser who took nothing back. I strongly believe that he got mad I read right through him and that's why he blocked me. End of story. What makes me even angrier is his hypocrisy. Because according to him, Adrian and Marinette are equals. But also according to him, Marinette is Barbie, and he's just Ken. Don't piss me off. And this opens a whole another topic about Thomas Astruc's flawed feminism. I don't know how many times he needs to hear this to understand it, but making everything about Adrian's abuse and origins revolve around Marinette at the end of the day, is not the feminist move he thinks it is. Making Adrian a damsel in distress all of the time is not going to empower any woman. It's at the point where it goes beyond genders, and is just insulting to abuse victims. This is why his finale sucks. This is why Adrian's entire character in season 5 is just Marinette's boyfriend. He doesn't get to participate in anything that's about himself. Only Marinette does. I don't know how he managed to twist the Adrian Senti plot and make it revolve around Marinette. I mean, he literally said himself it's the miraculous formula to include Marinette everywhere, even in places she doesn't belong, just because she's the main character. Every character's arc is really just about her. Look at Zoe for example. An episode about her, but it's really about Marinette. Because we don't get to see how she coped with the rejection afterwards, and we go right back to Marinette confessing to Adrian. Damn, he's really nothing but her love interest now. Feminism, everyone. Another thing I had to mention is how he mocked fan fiction writers who solo him at his profession. Imagine being so insecure you have to basically tweet affirmations to boost your fat ass ego while putting down passionate writers who actually care about their work. He has also compared Chloe, a 14-year-old, to rapists and abusers. Meanwhile he didn't give a fuck about his friend Winnie drawing basically porn of Ladybug right before the show debuted. With a target audience of toddlers. Okay. I think that's all I have to say. Fuck Thomas the Flop weirdo.